різниця, чи права, чи цей? Ну, давай. Там, де Росія, там вірити не у мене віри немає. Нічому, що говорить Росія.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Donald Trump has just called out Vladimir Putin, but his remarks have raised many eyebrows. For Europe, the US president lashing out at his Russian counterpart is not really a cheerful moment. After all, the invasion of Ukraine continues, and the Kremlin's reaction have raised those same eyebrows even further.
Много чего Трамп говорит, там мы, естественно, все это читаем, отслеживаем, так сказать, но во многом приходим к выводу, что Трампа недостаточно информирует о том, что реально происходит в контексте украинско-российского противостояния.
In June of 2025, Putin's war on Ukraine would have completed 1,200 days. That is 1,200 days of horror, attacks, bloodshed, and resistance. That is 1,200 days of US and Europe standing by and watching as Russian troops kill Ukrainians. That is now 1,200 days of the European Union promising to stand by Kyiv. That is now 1,200 days since the most powerful military in the world has been calling for de-escalation. And now, once again, there is talk of peace. But all hopes remain in the shadow of suspicion.
Сусід взагалі себе поводить, йому довіряти ніколи ні в чому не можна. І тому, можливо, і буде якесь перемир'я. Всі хочуть його, я також хочу, звісно. Але навряд чи. Моя така думка. Надія штука така непевна. Ми розраховуємо на свої сили.
In fact, it is now clear even Trump suspects Putin of intentionally delaying talks. Fresh out of a tariff war, the US is looking to make America great again, and the Russia-Ukraine war is clearly bad for business. So Donald Trump is out to make a deal. But in this business of the bear and the eagle, the European Union has been caught in the crossfire. And what about the Brexiters?
Мы вас полностью поддержим. Дай Бог здоровья, чтобы насколько я думаю, суммы должны быть наши.
Бачимо по інформації, яку здобуває розвідка, та по відкритих даних, що Путін та його оточення не планують завершувати війну. Немає зараз жодного підтвердження, що вони всерйоз розглядають варіант миру.
Even as the world hopes for true peace in Ukraine, the outlook remains bleak. The European Union has continued to announce financial, mechanical, and intelligence support to Ukraine.
And perhaps United States administration also is starting to understand that Putin's wishes to continue the war, because perhaps he thinks that he is the winner in this war.
Equipment from Germany and other European nations and the United States of America have given Zelensky's armed forces an edge over Putin's troops. But now Moscow is clearly looking to drive a wedge between the EU and Washington. However, the wedge probably first emerged when Trump declared his own trade war on the world.
Когда он видит, что эти его усилия, группка европейских представителей начинает саботировать, подталкивая Украину на совершенно безрассудные действия, включая атаки беспилотников на Москву, другие наши города, и атаки по вертолету президента Российской Федерации, конечно, у него могут проявляться определенные эмоции.
It is clear the EU is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Europe's largest economy, Germany, is hoping for Russia to de-escalate even as it continues backing Ukraine. However, Germany is not Europe, and although it has been shoring up its defenses and strengthening its military, the Russian bear mauling the European economy remains a concern.
Militärische Unterstützung fortsetzen und wir werden sie ausbauen, damit sich die Ukraine jetzt und in Zukunft eben gegen diese russische Aggression weiter zur Wehr setzen kann.
There are European powers ready to stare down Russia, including Finland, one of the newest members of NATO. As the tensions in Europe soar once again, Nordic nations are at the center of the action. In fact, Finland shares a 1,300 kilometers border with Russia, which it has now started shoring up. In a recent interview to an international news channel, the Finnish president said, and I quote, "The troops are not for Sweden." In fact, the leader went on to assess that Putin had taken a series of missteps since his invasion of Ukraine, including underestimating the enemy's resolve. After Russia began its attack, Finland had announced in 2022 that it would join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was finalized in April 2023. This, according to Alexander Stubb, by invading Ukraine, Putin managed to push the neutral nations towards NATO and the West.
Norway, Sweden and Finland are increasingly pushing the concept of total defence. It means every part of society has a role to play in national defence, not just the military. During a crisis or war in the Nordics, you could also go to a bunker. Finland's shelters can fit more than 85% of its population. Officials say they hope the guides encourage people to think about how to help themselves in the event of a crisis.
A nugget of military history that is very important here. In the Second World War, Finland actively resisted Soviet incursion attempts, then drove out the Germans in 1945 in what is called the Lapland War, and managed to be only one of two European nations whose capital did not fall, the other being the USSR. Now, Russia. In 2025, the Finnish military says they are preparing for the worst. Reports suggest Finland can accommodate 85% of its civilian population in bunkers. With its mandatory military training and well-equipped armed and air forces, Finland remains a threat for Russia on one front. Global firepower ranks Finland as the 45th strongest military in the world. So has being European Union turned from a happy dream in 2020, just before COVID hit, to a nightmare after Russia invaded.
In total, since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, at least 13,279 civilians, including 707 children, have been killed.